At the beginning of Matthew 26, we're reminded why Jesus is in Jerusalem. He's there to celebrate the Passover, an annual feast that looks back on God's great act of salvation when He delivered His people Israel from slavery to Egypt. As God was pouring out His judgment on sin through the plague of the firstborn, His people were protected from that by sacrificing a lamb in place of the son. And then they were instructed to take the blood of that lamb and to put it on the doorposts of the house and on the lintel piece above, so that when God's angel of judgment came through, He would see the blood and pass over the houses of God's people. Well, what many of Jesus' friends didn't realize that week is that there were some in Jerusalem who wanted to do to Jesus what had been done of old to the Passover lamb. They wanted to have Him killed. In Matthew 26, 1 through 5, we read about a plot that's forming, a conspiracy that's forming among the religious leaders in Jerusalem. They want to secretly, stealthily arrest Jesus and get rid of Him. They want to have Him killed because Jesus, to them, was a threat. If He's really the King of Israel, that means they're no longer in charge, and they couldn't have that. And so they created this plot to get rid of Him. They wanted to wait until the Passover feast was over so as to not create an uprising in the city. But as we're going to see over the next couple of days, they ultimately couldn't wait to get rid of Him because the connection between Jesus and the Passover lamb was more real than any of them imagined. But the question I want us to think about today: do I see Jesus' kingship as a gift or as a threat? Is the death of Jesus, does His death mean for me the freedom to do whatever I want, or the freedom from sin to follow Him and serve His kingdom? Either way, one has to decide, what do I do with Jesus? Nobody can remain neutral before the one whose final week is the climax of all human history. So what am I going to do with Jesus the King?